UFC 287, Alex Pereira versus Adesanya. 3, 4, maybe 10. I don't know how many times they fought. I'm going to break down each fighter's strengths, their weaknesses, and then give you guys my prediction as to who is going to win this fight. So if we look at the strengths of Pereira, you guys see the animation, by the way? Upgrade. Well, you guys see the strengths here on the screen. I'm going to read them out to you. So his left hook, it's obvious. It's put so many people out. It is one of his strong points, his left hook, combined with the overall power that he has. It's a massive strength that Pereira has over Israel Adesanya. When he throws that left hook, it is deadly, and it has shut the lights off of many men. Question is, can he do it again? As I said before, his power overall is very high, super high, and is a massive strength for him. He knows that for every strike that he hits, Adesanya has to hit 2 or 3 to land the same or a little bit less even damage. Now, his calmness, his overall stoicism is something that I think won him the fight against Adesanya last fight. We didn't see a panicked or rushed Pereira when he had to take out Adesanya as he was losing the fight, and that calmness is what won him that fight. He, alongside his coaches, were extremely calm, methodical, and the way he took out Adesanya was all because of this. Now, this calmness could be a weakness if used too much. What do I mean by that? I mean, if he remains too calm in the next fight, let's say if he is losing and doesn't pull the trigger quick enough, I don't think that will be a good thing. But with his experience in kickboxing and his experience fighting Adesanya himself, I can't see this happening, so I only see it as a strength. And as I've put here, experience, as I've just mentioned before, he has fought Israel a numerous amount of times in kickboxing, and that kickboxing experience he has is vital and super important for him to use. Now, weaknesses, his grappling. Adesanya got 8 minutes of control over him last fight, but he is with Glover. Glover being his coach means that he can work on the grappling with someone who is brilliant at it. So maybe this weakness will go away as time goes on, or even this fight, he might show some brilliant grappling. And then secondly, something he can't do much about, but his time doing MMA. So what I mean by that is he does have experience fighting Adesanya and kickboxing, which is great, but his experience overall in the MMA world isn't very high compared to Adesanya's, so that could be a weakness. You know, Adesanya has had so many fights in the UFC now and in mixed martial arts that he overall has the better experience over Pereira and could use that as a weapon. Now, we look at Israel Adesanya's strengths, his feints. Now, his feints are brilliant. The way that he feints his punches and kicks, the way he stutters, it puts a lot of fighters off. Against Pereira last fight, it did work somewhat, but over time, Pereira got the better of him. His feints against Marvin Vettori, against Paulo Costa, against Robert Whittaker, the names go on, were brilliant, and they overload the opponent's brain with information and can tire out the opponents that he fights. So his feints are a massive, massive strength. Now, his self-belief, this is going to be tested in this fight, I believe. Self-belief overall, yes, he does have it, but self-belief against Pereira is what I'm on about here. Self-belief he has. He is a confident man. He believes in himself. He has no question about it, shown that he has self-belief. But can he have that same belief that he had against Vettori, Costa, Whittaker, against Pereira? He'll need it. That's what I'm trying to get at. He'll need the self-belief, because if he doesn't win that mental warfare against Pereira, he's already lost before he's entered the octagon. Now, leg kicks. He is brilliant at leg kicks. If he uses these wisely, he could really stop that movement of Pereira, slow him down. Also, take the power off Pereira's punches, because we all know that when you punch, most of that weight goes onto the front leg. If he can chop away at that, like Pereira did to him, that will take the sting away from his punches and slow down his movement. And then you might be surprised, I'm only saying wrestling in this fight, with over 8 minutes of control time in the last fight. You have to say it's a strength. The wrestling is a strength that he could use. Now, when you see what I say weakness-wise, you'll be questioning why I've put two things in both strength and weaknesses. My explanation here is 8 minutes of control time was good with the wrestling, so he needs to use it more. But as we move along to his weaknesses, he could have used it more. That's why I've put it as a weakness as well. Has he left it too late to use his wrestling? As we know, Pereira is under the wing of Glover, and I will not attempt to say his surname because I'll butcher it, but has he left it too late to use his wrestling? In the first fight, he clearly showed he could wrestle with Pereira and he could get the better of him, but the question is now, has he left it too late? Has Glover taught him the things that Pereira, the things that he needs to know in order to stop Israel Adesanya's wrestling, and then in the future stop people like Paulo Costa, Robert Whittaker, who are much more well-rounded fighters from wrestling against him? He might have left it too late, and he doesn't use it enough, so that's why I've put it as a weakness. Now we talk about leg kick defense, something that Pereira capitalized on very much so in their last fight. And I'm not sure if I should have put leg kick defense, but more the stance that he has. He has a very wide stance, leaving that lead leg very, very available to be kicked. Now, Pereira did this for two reasons in the last fight. One was to stop Israel's movement so he could corner him, which eventually happened in round 5, and get his hands on him. That's what Pereira wanted. He wanted to take away the movement that Adesanya had, and he did so successfully. Also, stop the sting of Adesanya's punches by kicking that lead leg a lot. And I'd like to see Adesanya maybe narrow his stance this fight so he doesn't get kicked in the leg as much. But I walk the way I walk, you will walk the way you walk. The stance is so hard to change. The stance is so hard to change. It's like anything. It's natural and it's the way that you fight. So will he be able to change that? I'm not sure. But if he isn't able to change the stance, he needs to change the leg kick defense and have a way of stopping Pereira just mauling and snapping his leg on Adesanya's leg. Mental block. Again, Israel Adesanya has the self-belief, but he is dealing here with a mental block. He has faced Pereira 2 to 3 times. 3 times, I think now. 2 in kickboxing, 1 in MMA, so it's 3 times. That mental block, that's a mental block that's going to be there. There is no point in hiding it. There is no point in saying that there is no mental block. There is definitely a mental block. If someone beats you 3 times, there will be automatically a mental block. So can he get over that hurdle? This is going to be the biggest test of Adesanya's career. One of the biggest. It has been and will be. Adesanya has to win this fight. If he loses this fight, it is 4 losses to Pereira, which makes Pereira his kryptonite, but a fight I'm very looking forward to. Now we're going to move on to my prediction. If I were to go with the guy who has lost 3 times to the opponent, I would be stupid. I am going with Pereira this fight. I think that his calmness and his power is going to really shine. I think he's going to go and batter that lead leg of Adesanya's, and I think he's going to wrestle. I think he's going to wrestle because he has Glover in his corner and he knows that Israel Adesanya's wrestling is a weakness. He is going to wrestle him, and also you've got to think the power is still there. Even if he's on the ground, on top mount or half guard or side control, he will still have the power on the floor. So I think he will use that power he has on the ground on top of Israel Adesanya, and I think he will also use wrestling to tire out Israel. I think he's going to get him in the clinch. He's going to tire out those shoulders, those arms, so that Israel's striking isn't as quick. And then I think he'll take him to the ground and pound him for a few rounds. And then when they get up, Israel won't look the same as he does at the start of the fight. He won't look the same, as he did at the start of the fight. And I can see Pereira getting a finish in round 4. That is my prediction. I'm going round 4, TKO or KO. So what do you guys think? Who do you have for this fight? Pereira or Adesanya? I can't wait for this fight. I'm looking forward to it. Are we going to see Adesanya finally get the best of his kryptonite, Pereira, or are we going to see Pereira win this fight convincingly with a knockout or a TKO with that beautiful left hook he has? Let me know in the comments below, and join the poll in the community area of my YouTube so we can see how many of you guys who like my videos think that Pereira is going to win and Adesanya is going to win, and you guys can maybe have a debate with each other as to why and who you think will win. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.